So I'd like to welcome you here again. It's wonderful to see you and be with you. We are all living through extraordinarily challenging times. And my heart is continually being wrenched out of my chest for the knowing the difficulty and suffering of so many people. I think what's so important, given the perspective that we literally are one in here and cultivating here, the profound interconnectedness of all being. That's not a concept that I believe in. It's a reality I live in. And I've learned to surrender to it and to follow it. And it's taken me 52 years since I was 16 and had a profound shift in consciousness. And it takes a lifetime to integrate transformation. We don't make that happen. That is not a human achievement ever. But I want to talk about that because I want to talk about attitude, especially now with everything so obviously unknown and unknowable. The truth is, life has always been like that. We just weren't necessarily aware of it unless the rug got pulled out from underneath us in one way or another. My own personal life has been an experience of one rug being pulled out after another my whole life, even since birth. And so I've had to learn the hard way, as I'm sure you are, in all the ways that you are, to adapt, survive, and thrive. But when we are stuck in the belief about how it is or how it should be, we will suffer and it will be very difficult to see clearly and find the next step, whatever it is. I think it's a good idea to take a nice breath now. Let's let go of all that heaviness. It's also really helpful when you can to bring lightness and a lightheartedness even into the darkness. Because the light illuminates the dark and ultimately transforms it. That is literally true. So you can see this in your own practice as you're here. When you begin to learn how to pay attention to the arisings of your mind, your heart, your body, your energy system, as you learn to pay attention, there's something that happens that you're not making happen. And that's really what you need to learn how to follow more and more. It really is what's meant by following the light or opening and surrendering into awareness. That's what those teachings mean. They're not concepts to believe in, no. They're useful initially to have a perspective, but ultimately you're the one facing the unknown right now. And when you realize that this is it right here, when you can begin to literally let go totally of the past and the future and your mind that is trying to be in control, your ego that's trying to survive no matter what, when you can just shift into this pure beingness, you can begin to experience profound healing, integration, peace, and harmony, even in the midst of chaos. And we need to find this now because everything is so volatile. Everything. And it is stressful. And so I want to welcome you and invite you to be as human as you need to be and not try to restrict your human reaction and response to whatever is going on. Because those concepts of emotional repression that have come from various traditions and teachings let's just say, aren't helpful right now. I don't want to go into the historical reason for those and the cultural reasons for those programs that were there, but they're really mostly not helpful. In fact, often exacerbate suffering. Let me explain a little bit. I know many of you know me already and are familiar with what I offer here, but I just think it's helpful because we often beat ourselves up and think we should be better than we are. More patient, more understand, whatever. But, you know, when we're in survival mode, there is no consciousness. I wrote something down here I want to share with you. Yeah, this conscious ego is an oxymoron. In fact, this is my favorite right now, considering what's going on. Ego is like a virus. It really doesn't have any intelligence, just a job to do, which is to survive. So when you realize that you can begin to separate your survival instinct reflex mechanisms, you can be aware of them, and if you're upset about them or they harm others, you can ask for forgiveness or apologize or whatever, but you can also go within yourself deeply and ask for forgiveness, because ultimately, as my dear friend Brother David Steindl-Rast, who's 94 and writing his next book, and has been a Benedictine monk for 68 years. Literally, he became a monk when I was born. We've known each other now and been close for 48 years. And he met me when I was a young monk, when I was 20. And he said to me, you know, the true meaning of sin isn't what you do or don't do behaviorally. It is literally being out of connection with your deep, true nature. That's what it is. Now, some people think they're supposed to be connected to their true nature all the time, and some teachers teach that. But honestly, that's not human nature to do that, and it's not possible, honestly. It's just not. And any belief in that is a kind of restriction that literally can become almost like fascism or fundamentalism. And extremely harmful, because you need to be the human being you are with all of your complexity. So you can bring all of your wounding and trauma and whatever else you're conditioning to the light of awareness so it can begin to unravel and stop running you and controlling you and making you sick and unhappy. So we need the raw materials of our unconscious conditioning to fuel the fire of transformation. So this is not a problem. This is actually a good thing. The Buddha understood this. He made it very clear in his teaching, actually. I've often said that there has never been and never will be in history and in the future an ego that is secure. Never. Egos fundamentally are insecure because they're all about surviving and being comfortable. And so that's always, and you can see how it's damaged this planet. And life here has become on the precipice of not livable because ego thought it knew how to dominate nature, and ego will never dominate nature. Never. It's not possible. We are nature, and we have to learn to be in harmony with ourselves, each other, and this planet. And so to tune into your deep nature, which it is nature, you're not making awareness, you're not getting some, glorified presence from somebody else. That's not true. That is not true at all. It is always what you have always been. It is literally the life force, the intelligent, creative life force is what we are. Whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're in touch with it or not, or whether maybe just once in a while you're in touch, or you come here and this environment supports deepening into awakened consciousness, as we call it. But it's so important to have an attitude that is a balanced perspective of how this works. So you don't end up pushing the river and fighting it and trying to force it into how you think it's supposed to be because you heard it's supposed to be a certain way. Or someone told you that's how it was for them. Who cares? That's not important. What's important is how it's unfolding for you. I'm here to support you in following exactly how it's unfolding for you, perfectly for you. And I guarantee you it works.